it's time to garden, and of all the many questions Ciscoe gets, and there are lots, most of them are about rhododendrons. The flowering bushes are popular in Britain, Scotland, and here in the Pacific Northwest. Also popular, always, the master gardener himself, Ciscoe Morris.
Oh la la.
Ooh, yes. Why are these so popular in the Pacific Northwest? Is it our soil or what?
Look at the size of that flower right there.
I know.
This is called King George Loderi. It's super fragrant. So don't stick your nose in there too far. You have a yellow nose. But oh my God. So figure there's probably 50 on my plant in the back garden. The whole patio smells so wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
And so they come in all these different colors. Are there different names for each one that we have
Oh
here?
yeah, everyone. This is stolen from a neighbor down the street, and this is stolen from the other neighbor down the street. So I'm not sure. This is Yaku Shimena, and look at the back, how pretty this. Yeah. So that's kind of a nice little cover that some have, you know. So this has beautiful pink blossoms. I wish it was blooming. And this dwarf stays little, which is nice. This gets enormous. I've seen rhododendrons in England. They were brought back in the 1700s by the plant explorers. 50 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful to see. My parents have them in their yard, and I love when they bloom. But when to prune tends to be a common question.
That is. And so the time you prune is right when all these flowers fade.
Oh.
As soon as they fade, right after that you prune, because already you could see this is putting out new growth.
Yeah.
And so right after they're done blooming, they send out new growth, and that growth later in summer is going to form a flower bud on it. So if you wait too long to prune, you interfere with that process, you won't get near as many flowers.
Okay.
And if you, of course, do it before they bloom, well, that doesn't work too good either. You don't see a lot of flowers if you do that.
Are you going to show me, is there a place that I'm supposed to be pruning?
Well, yeah, and this is the cool thing. I don't know if the camera could show this, like this teensy bud.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Cute.
So what these have, they have what they call adventitious buds. So all along there, even where you can't see them, they have buds. You can cut that anywhere you want, and it'll send out new growth.
Thick here?
Yep, you could just cut it
Really?
right
You're
there.
not going to scream at me and say,
well, I might.
Oh, no.
Now, if you wanted to prune this to look nice, you'd cut it off there where another branch goes and all that.
Okay, I might do that because, okay.
But, and you would probably cut it right at that point.
Oh, okay,
there.
so I did it wrong again.
You know, not too bad though. That was pretty good. And
will it harm a rhododendron if you cut it too close to the ground too?
At Seattle University, we had to move some 20-foot, really old rhododendrons. And after we moved them, we had damaged the roots and things. You know, we used tobacco, and the new growth came out really weird with little teensy leaves and things. So we cut the thing to 4 inches from the ground. In 5 years, it was almost 20 feet again.
Really?
You can cut a healthy rhodie anywhere you want. And a lot of times, if they get all thinned out and don't look so good anymore, people cut them way down, they come back nice and thick.
So they're like resilient. I feel like this is a good plant to have for someone like me. What's the trick to pruning a rhodie too that's blocking the view of like a window or something like that?
I hope we got a really cool picture here. So this is what happens. We buy a rhodie, it's got these beautiful little flowers. We stick in front of the picture window. Like a couple of years later, you're like, what happened? You know, you can't even see out the window. So if that happens, what you can do is you just take off all the lower branches and leave a big canopy up above. So if that was looking out the window, you could frame a beautiful view. And look at how pretty the bark is on a lot of rhodies. Madrona trees, they're the queen of the rhododendron family.
Gosh.
So a lot of them have beautiful bark. So I did that like at Seattle University, you know, a priest used to cut the rhodie down every 3 years. and then it would grow back. By the time it bloomed, it covered the window again. So I talked them into letting me do it like that in front of the window. They all loved it. I had
absolutely.
Then the priest that did it, he got sent away. He came back after 5 years in Rome, cut it down right to 3 feet again. I don't know if priests can go to hell, but if they can.
That's it. Segment over. I'm just kidding. I have one more question. Are these really poisonous?
They are poison.
For like cats and dogs, like something
yeah, you
for
don't
us
want
to
your
think about.
dog. You don't throw a stick of rhododendron for your dog. You don't want a puppy gnawing on him. And you know, there's a famous story.
Oh, with this? Okay.
Yeah, there were two armies fighting way back in the before Christ, I think, even having a big war. And one army was beating the living tweedle out of the other guys.
Yeah.
And the next day they were going to do their last attack, a takeover. But soldiers went out and found a honey nest, a bee nest full of honey. They put it on their bread.
Yeah.
Well, the bees had been going to the flowers of rhododendrons. It was poison, and all those guys in that big army were lying there holding their tummy and goodbye, Charlie. Changed all of history.
Don't fact check us on that, but Ciscoe, as always, we love having you on. Thank you so much for being here.